Have you ever been in a grocery store, standing under those harsh lights, and you catch your reflection in the freezer door for half a second and think, wait, is that really me now? Not in a dramatic way, just a quiet punch in the chest. Or you're driving, the radio is on, life is normal, and out of nowhere, you remember a photo from years ago, and you feel this weird grief, like something is slipping away, and you cannot even name what it is. If that has happened to you, you are not broken. You are not weak, you are just waking up to time, because nobody prepares you for the moment. You realize you're not the young guy anymore, and the world has a very specific way of making that moment feel like a loss. It teaches you, without saying it out loud, that the peak is early, that the best version of you already happened, that everything after is just maintenance and decline. So you start scanning yourself like a detective. You notice the lines that were not there before. You notice the extra second it takes to recover. You notice the way some rooms treat youth like currency. And if you are honest, you begin to carry a quiet panic, like your life is a train and you miss the stop where everything was supposed to happen. And that panic makes you do strange things. It makes you compare, it makes you chase, it makes you reach for attention that does not even feel good when you get it. It makes you replay old decisions, like a courtroom scene, looking for someone to blame. Sometimes, it even makes you think, what is the point now? But here is the truth that changes everything. You were not built to peak early, you were built to deepen. And the part of life that feels heavier later on is not a sign that you are losing. It is a sign that you are finally strong enough to carry real weight. There is a reason so many men feel lost in their early years. When you're young, you have energy, but you do not have a compass. You have hunger, but you do not know what will actually satisfy it. You have confidence some days, then doubt the next, because your identity is still wet cement. Anyone can press their fingerprints into it. So you become reactive. You shape yourself to fit rooms. You perform. You try to win approval from people who do not even know themselves yet. You call it ambition, but it is often fear wearing a nice suit, fear of being invisible, fear of being average, fear of being left out. And because you do not trust your own direction, you ask the world to tell you who you are. You look for signs. You look for validation. You look for someone to choose you, so you do not have to fully choose yourself. Then, life teaches you. Not with speeches, with consequences, with heartbreak, with loss, with embarrassment, with failure that does not care about your potential, with mornings where you have to get up anyway, with responsibilities that do not pause because you feel unmotivated. And slowly, if you pay attention, you begin to develop something far more valuable than youthful confidence. You develop steadiness. Steadiness is a superpower, because steadiness is what most people are desperate to feel around. A man who is steady does not need to be loud. He does not need to prove he is important. He does not need to argue to feel strong. He can listen without collapsing. He can disagree without disrespect. He can be alone without spiraling. He can be silent without feeling ashamed of it. That is not an accident. That is earned. This is why your 40s can be the beginning, not the end. Not because a birthday gives you magic, but because time, when you use it well, gives you depth. It gives you pattern recognition. It gives you the ability to see what matters and what is just noise dressed up as urgency. A younger man might walk into a room trying to be seen. He is performing even when he thinks he is just being social. He talks a little too fast. He checks the room for reactions. He adjusts himself every minute. But a mature man walks in and he is already at home inside himself. His attention is not scattered. His energy is not begging. His presence is not asking permission. And people feel that before he says a word. This is not about looking tougher. It is about being calmer. And calm is not passive. Calm is controlled power. Calm is knowing you can react, but you choose not to. Calm is being able to walk away from disrespect, not because you are afraid, but because you know your peace is worth more than winning a stupid moment. This shift changes your relationships too. At a certain stage, you stop trying to hold people in your life with force. You stop over-explaining your worth. You stop chasing texts, chasing closure, chasing someone's attention like it is oxygen. You realize that real connection does not require pressure. If someone wants to stay, they stay. If they do not, you let them go without turning it into a war. That is maturity. And maturity is attractive, not in a shallow way, but in a human way. Because what most people actually want is safety. Not the kind you can buy, the kind you can feel. Emotional safety. The feeling that you can be around someone and your nervous system does not have to be on guard. The feeling that you can speak and not be punished for it. The feeling that your mistakes will be met with honesty, not cruelty. A lot of men think attraction is about tricks, the right line, the right outfit, the right image. But the deeper truth is that people are drawn to stability. They are drawn to someone who does not flip moods like a light switch. They are drawn to someone who can handle stress without throwing it on everyone else. And you do not build that in a short season. You build it through years of becoming. So if you have been looking at younger men and feeling behind, let me give you a cleaner perspective. Youth has speed. Maturity has weight. Speed looks impressive. Weight changes outcomes. Anyone can talk. Weight makes people listen. Anyone can promise. Weight makes people trust. This is where you stop trying to be impressive and start becoming undeniable. And you become undeniable in 3 simple ways. Not by doing more, but by doing the right things consistently. First, you develop emotional command, not emotional suppression. Command. That means you notice what rises in you and you decide what deserves your response. Someone tries to provoke you and you do not take the bait. Someone disrespects you and you do not explode to prove you have a spine. You set a boundary. You keep your voice steady. You remove access if needed. You protect your attention because you finally understand attention is life. Whatever you feed grows. If you feed drama, you become drama. If you feed purpose, you become purpose. Emotional command also means you stop making permanent decisions in temporary modes. You stop sending messages just to calm your anxiety. You stop self-sabotaging because you are uncomfortable with silence. You learn to sit with the feeling without obeying it, and the moment you can do that, your life becomes quieter in the best way, clearer, sharper. Second, you become selective with your circle, not isolated. Selective. You stop confusing noise with friendship. You stop keeping people close just because you have history. You start asking, do I feel better after being around this person? Do they bring out my discipline or my excuses? Do they respect my time? Do they speak with integrity when I am not in the room? The truth is, peace does not come from having more people around you. Peace comes from having the right people around you. Sometimes your life upgrades the moment you stop handing access to anyone who asks for it. The quieter your circle becomes, the more your mind can finally focus. The less you have to perform, the less you have to explain, the more you can build. Third, you put purpose first. Not in a dramatic movie soundtrack way, in a daily way. Purpose first means you stop letting distractions drive the car. You stop living like your best hours belong to everyone else. You stop spending your energy on things that do not pay you back in strength, skill, health, or love. Purpose first means you build yourself like a man who plans to be here for a long time. You train your body because you want your mind to live in a strong home. You build your finances because you want your choices to be real choices. You build your craft because mastery is confidence. You do not have to fake. You build your character because you want to respect yourself in the quiet moments. And yes, purpose first also means you stop living for the highlight reel. You stop flexing. You stop trying to look like you have it all together. You start actually putting it together. This is where the real win happens. Because when you have emotional command, a selective circle, and purpose first, you do not need to chase respect. You become a man people naturally respect. You do not need to chase love. You become the kind of man love can safely trust. You do not need to chase confidence. Confidence becomes the side effect of keeping promises to yourself. And let me say this clearly. None of this is about becoming cold. It is about becoming solid. You can still be warm. You can still be kind. You can still be playful. The difference is you are no longer fragile. You are no longer easily pulled off your center. A fragile man needs constant reassurance. A solid man creates reassurance by how he moves. He does what he says. He shows up when it matters. He admits mistakes without making excuses. He improves without asking for applause. If you are entering your 40s or already there, you are not watching the end of your story. You are arriving at the chapter where your choices finally have gravity, where you stop living on borrowed beliefs and start living on earned truth, where you stop asking, am I still wanted? And start asking, am I proud of how I live? Because the real fear is not aging. The real fear is wasting years asleep. So, let today be your wake-up moment. Stop treating your life like it is already over. Stop speaking about yourself like you are a discount version. You are not a faded picture. You are a man with depth. And depth is what lasts. You do not need to compete with youth. You need to become aligned. Aligned with your values. Aligned with your health. Aligned with your mission. Aligned with the kind of man you want to be when nobody is watching. That is how you become powerful. Quietly, consistently, honestly. Let the past teach you, but do not let it chain you. Let the future pull you, but do not let it scare you. You are not late. You are arriving. And the best part is, you get to decide what you arrive as. Take a breath and feel this. You are the kind of man who follows through. Drop one word in the comments that describes the life you are building. Hit like so you remember this the next time doubt tries to creep in. Send this to someone who needs a reset today. And if you want more of this kind of calm strength in your feed, stay with this channel and subscribe.